Okay, we all ready? Turn me on.
Speed. Scene 101, sound 1 mark.
Now, once and for all, that should be pretty clear. Any questions?
Now, once and for all, that should be pretty clear. Any questions?
Joe Sedelmaier directs commercials.
Time for the movie.
I want a movie.
I think any one of those people you see in my commercials, if you saw them on the street, you probably wouldn't give them a second glance. But in the context of a commercial, it seems like it's a way out face.
I'm Mike Wallace.
I'm Willie Safer.
I'm Harry Reasoner.
I'm Ed Bradley. Those stories and Andy Rooney tonight on 60 Minutes. What's a Sedelmaier? Well, if you're like most people, you probably don't have the slightest idea, but it would be virtually a sure bet that you've seen one. A Sedelmaier is a little piece of nonsense that earns Joe Sedelmaier big bucks and has made him a big man in Chicago. By all rights, he should be in Hollywood because what he does has made him one of the most successful film directors of all time. He builds his own star system, casting unknowns in films that don't even have names. You may not know him, but I'm sure you'll recognize his work.
Okay. You'll bring your hand up right when they bring theirs up. Yeah, right to there. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we all ready? Turn me on.
Speed. Scene 101, sound 1 mark.
Now, once and for all, that should be pretty clear. Any questions?
Now, once and for all, that should be pretty clear. Any questions?
Good. Now, once and for all, that should wrap it up. Any questions? Okay.
Now, once and for all, that should...
No, you're slamming it down. Just bring it down. Just bring it down, Owen, so it's like, now, once and for all, that should wrap it up. Wrap it up. That should wrap it up. Wrap it up, you know?
Now, once and for all, that should wrap it up. Any questions?
If you couldn't advertise in the 9X business-to-business yellow pages, how would you reach?
By now, you've probably guessed it. Joe Sedelmaier directs commercials.
Good.
This was a casting session at his studio.
Just smile and say, I'm Phelps. Like the...
I'm Phelps.
Yeah.
I'm Phelps.
He's Phillips.
I'm Phelps.
I'm Phillips.
Phillips. He's Phelps.
I'm Folger.
Folger.
I'm Phelps.
Good. Good. We got that.
I think any one of those people you see in my commercials, if you saw them on the street, you probably wouldn't give them a second glance. But in the context of a commercial, it seems like it's a way out face because I think everyone's so conditioned to seeing these plastic, faceless faces. I look at Joe Lovato, the guy that you saw in the Amco commercial. Kay, my secretary, saw him in a supermarket. He's an architect.
What are you looking for in a face when you cast a commercial? Is it a particular look?
I'm looking for something I can empathize with, some little characteristic bit, some little thing that right away says, I know who that man is.
Yeah. It would be unfortunate for you, my friend.
Would be unfortunate for you, my friend.
I think that thanks to commercial filmmakers like Sedelmaier, we now have movie actors who look like real people, including Gene Hackman and Dustin Hoffman. Movie stars that 20 years ago would have been playing characters are now playing the lead because it's now permissible to look like somebody other than Robert Redford.
Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel are two Chicago film critics whose reviews appear in several newspapers and on television. We asked them if Sedelmaier could ever be compared to directors like Hitchcock or Fellini.
I'll say Woody Allen.
I'll
say Woody Allen and he's making little movies, okay? 60-second, 30-second little movies. I don't rank him with these guys because they're making bigger films. But I'll say this, that in his little tiny world, he is their equal.
Good evening, Bunny's Pizzeria. I'm Frank, your bunny for tonight. Can I help you?
Time for the movie.
I want a movie.
I heard steak.
Petey did a bang-up job on putting you in charge of Pittsburgh. I know it's perfect, Petey. That's why I picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's perfect. Petey, may I call you Pete?
Call me Pete.
Pete.
Some hamburger places actually serve processed chicken.
Excuse me, but what was that in there? It's chicken.
Sedelmaier is not like most directors of commercials. For one thing, he works out of Chicago, where he lives with his wife and children. If he worked in New York or Los Angeles, he might find it difficult to keep other people out of his hair. He demands total control. total control, from the script to casting, even to direction of the music.
When he says, what parts? Great if we could have like a pop-up. Yeah, right. That'd be terrific.
Whatever comes out at the end is a Sedelmaier.
You know, people say that Sedelmaier exaggerates his characters, and he paints them very broadly, but the fact of the matter is, if you've put down $1.95 for a hamburger, and there's no meat on the bun, that is the most important thing in your life.
Right now, the most important thing in Sedelmaier's life is this. The script originally said, "Where's all the beef?" He made one little change, and it became,
"Where's the beef?" The thing that's important there, though, is not even the line, it's the way Clara says it. It's Clara, when Clara says,
"Hey, where's the beef?" I don't think there's anybody back there.
It's the way it's said. I think of ideas. The idea is so important to start out with. That's your vehicle. But really, it's the execution. It's the way it's said. It's not the bowl of flowers. It's the way you paint the bowl of flowers. And Clara has a certain thing there that it's magic.
No, I just acted very natural. I opened up a sandwich, and I saw the beef. I said, "Where's the beef?" Just like that, not thinking.
Clara Peller was a retired manicurist who came to commercials through Joe Sedelmaier rather late in life. Now she's virtually a cult figure and is actively seeking roles in other commercials. Bill Welter is the executive vice president of Wendy's. Dave Thomas is the president and founder of the company. He used to be the star of the Wendy's commercials. The commercials that you were in, did they have anywhere near the impact that the commercials that Clara's in?
None whatsoever. In fact, in the last 14 years, I've been trying to tell everyone what value we have. And Clara said it in less than 3 seconds.
The campaign, the Where's the Beef campaign, what effect has it had on your sales?
It's had a tremendous effect. First of all, our sales in the first quarter were up 20% versus a year ago, while our competition was up only 10%.
What about Joe Sedelmaier? How is he to work with?
Oh, he's a doll. He makes an actress out of you if you're not.
Well, I think Joe does a better job of advertising himself than he does for the people that he's supposed to be working for.
Mike Gillette is executive vice president and creative director with SSC&B, a major advertising agency.
What he does is shoot a commercial that dramatizes a problem, a general problem. And then at the very end, the client gets to put his message at the very end of the commercial in very few words, and you're supposed to remember who that client was after the commercial's over. And I don't think there's any persuasion in that, and therefore I don't think there's any selling in that.
The Wendy's people say their sales are up dramatically.
I think what's happened is he's gotten America out there trying to find out where the beef is, and they don't know, so they're looking everywhere.
Gillette is not the only one who is critical of Sedelmaier. There are those on Madison Avenue who say humor doesn't make good advertising, especially Sedelmaier's brand of humor, which often relies on last-minute changes on the set.
Don't come to me if you have a script or a storyboard. Hey, this is it. This is the way we sold it. You can't change it in one way, in any way. Then they shouldn't come to me, because I believe when I go out on the set, I know what I'm going to do, and 9 times out of 10 I don't do it that way. But you have to have a plan, and then you go out on the set, and something happens, accidents, and really those are the best things. And you have to be open to those accidents. I see something, I say, my God, that's terrific. Let's go with that. And if I turn around and the guy says, well, that's not what we had planned, well, hey, we're going with that. And
it would seem that making a commercial, for most people, is a cooperative process, a collaboration.
Absolutely. It is a collaborative process. But once we're on the set, there's one man in charge, and that's going to be me.
There is nothing friendly, there's nothing warm, there's nothing personable about the advertising that he does. Look at the kind of people, the kind of automatons, the kind of unemotional people that he uses in his advertising. I don't think that makes you feel good after repeated exposure to that advertising.
I'm Phelps.
He's wrong. I think that he's another one that's been conditioned to everyone overreacting. You know, it's like, wow, I don't see people overreact in real life.
When's the next plane to Phoenix?
I'm glad you asked. You like duck?
When's the next plane to Phoenix?
We have a delightful repast, as well as an extremely entertaining movie.
Oh, when's the next plane to Phoenix?
Wide-body seating availability, which I might add is the widest body seating availability available.
Oh, when's the next plane to Phoenix?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday?
Now, the expected way of doing it, I'm sure, would be, I didn't ask you that. I said, when's the next plane to Phoenix? But the guy who was asking these questions, the customer, he is trying to make the best of a bad situation like we all do. We don't want to create a scene. We're there, we just want to find out when the next plane to Phoenix is. My characters, they're people that are trying to keep their dignity. They're in a bad situation. You can put someone in a totally absurd situation, but he's trying to hold on to his dignity. And so you have feeling for him. He's not some stark, raving idiot who overreacts to everything that happens.
For instance?
The man who comes home and it's like, hi, what's for dinner, honey? And the wife says, well, we're having Jell-O brand gelatin. And I don't hear people talk like this. At the end, you have the man says, honey, you are one terrific cook. And usually the woman says, well, and she holds up the product. Then she looks over at the camera and says, I had a little help. And I mean, come on, I've only seen it 1,000,000 times. It's, I think the thing that bothers me the most about these commercials, when you get right down to it, is they're boring. I think that's the worst thing you can do to a person, is bore them.
Southern Airways, the commercial you did.
Right.
Absolutely hilarious. Southern Airways went out of business.
Right, but that was much later.
This commercial, created by McDonald and Little of Atlanta, won numerous awards, but further strengthened the argument that humor doesn't sell.
Second cabin, please.
Southern Airways believes that no man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
You ever feel a little silly in what you do? I mean, a grown man agonizing over a little piece of film designed to sell hamburgers, a phone book, chicken? I mean, just spending hours agonizing over one little segment of it.
Look, that's why we have paper clips. That's why we have, you know, it's like some guy, he agonized over some little thing like putting a pen together. I think I don't care. That's the only way I can get my kicks. I have to feel about what I'm doing. I have to care.
What about staying in Chicago? I mean, aren't the most successful people in this business in New York?
Not anymore, is it?